hello, hello. All right, let's see if I successfully went live. Who wants to see him do Asura's Wrath? It's on the list. I'll do that at some point. So just let me know if you guys can see me and hear me okay. I'm gonna pull up the live on my own device over here just to make sure it's working. Oh, looks like it is working. Okay, hi. You hear me okay? Wonderful. If you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, it's to celebrate that I finally got that damn video out. And thank you guys so much for watching it. Getting a lot of views. It's doing really well. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Just hit like 100K views recently. It's only been up for 2 days, so that's great. Love that. Wonderful. Hello, Spiros. Hello, Creepy Monkey. Hello, Omniblade. Hello, Florin. Hello, Loose Dog. Emma Bowen. Got some regulars here. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, let me refresh over here, because I typically read the chat on my computer, because that way I can see way more of it. Okay, good. It's working now. All right, lots of wonderful hellos and welcomes from all you wonderful people. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad the God of War Ragnarok vid is done. Don't worry, will be a Valhalla vid. People are... I know, I said at the end of the video, and I put it in the pinned comment, but people keep asking. So yes, there will be a God of War Valhalla video. Relax. It's all good. You know, here, let me pull the camera a little closer. It's probably a little too far. How's that? I think that's better. All right. Since God of War Ragnarok is out, will you do Epic? I am working on Epic, yes. It's not really an inaccuracy vid, it's a different kind of vid, but I am working on a video for Epic the Musical, don't worry. I'm your biggest fan? Well, welcome, Christian Mabry. I almost said Marby. Welcome, Christian Mabry. Thank you for being such a big fan. Mr. Wednesday, it's going pretty well. Have you ever watched Crapopolis? Yeah, I didn't like it. I'm sorry. Wild and I were trying to watch it together. We weren't really enjoying it. Like, I got about 4 episodes in. I was just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. I'm just not enjoying it. I think the last one I watched was the wolf episode. Who's cooler, Hestia or Dionysus? Oh, well, when you're young, Dionysus is cooler. But, you know, when you get into your 30s and onward... Hestia is the kind of person you're always going to want around. And holy crap, a $20 donation from Repressed Memories. Thank you very much. Congrats on getting the video out. Really enjoyed it. Also wanted to thank you big time for pointing me in the direction of Zeus versus Godzilla. Hell yeah. Still trying to get the comic, but has opened the doorway for so much more lore. Yeah, you're welcome, and thank you for that donation. Yeah, it's a hard comic to get. When I was first trying to get Godzilla Rage Across Time, it was like hundreds of dollars online. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it in the end, but I know it was less than $100. And oh, there it is. Yeah, after my last live, I went out of my way to find it. I've got it right here. I'm so happy to have this. Really great comic. Really cool comic. Will Neza and Erlang Shen be in the card game? Not at launch, actually, because part of the reason, because I already have so many warriors and demigods ready for China already, I kind of want to have the initial launch, and later I want to expand on China and really add a lot more Journey to the West and Neza-based stuff. So, like, I think in the first big Chinese expansion, we'll definitely add Neza and Erlang in, but I'd like to include more stuff from their stories. I'd like to include some stuff from the Giant Axe story from Erlang Shen and stuff like that. Have you played Ghost of Tsushima? Yes, I have. I love Ghost of Tsushima, one of my favorite games. We streamed the whole thing over on Zagard's channel a little while ago, so you can go watch our playthrough if you want. Blood of Zeus Season 3. What about it? I know it's coming out. How about Doctor Who and Star Trek? I've seen the 9th Doctor season of Doctor Who. I was going to keep watching, but then everyone told me Doctor Who got horrible, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll just stop there. Star Trek, I've seen episodes here and there. Actually, my favorite Star Trek thing is, I don't know if you guys remember, there's a movie where, like, 3 Vulcans land in Earth during, I think it's like the 50s or 60s. I really like that movie, actually. Which god did you not like the portrayal of in any Rick Riordan book? I wasn't all that happy with Heimdall, I believe it was. I thought they made him a little too goofy, you know? With Thor having all the man cave shit, that I was really into. But Heimdall being all selfie oriented, I thought was a little too stupid. In my mind, Heimdall is such a like respectable and interesting god, and they made him a little too silly, in my opinion. Have you played AC Shadows? Yes, we streamed part of it, actually. My opinion on AC Shadows is it actually starts out pretty good, although it does have some serious pacing issues. And the more I played it, the more I hated it, because it just kept getting more and more repetitive. So annoying. Okay, hold on, I want to answer that. When are you going to do inaccuracies in Blood of Zeus 2? There may already be something in the works, actually. So maybe sooner than you think. What sun god do you think... what does the sun god think of daylight savings time? I think the sun god would be very happy that the humans just adapted to how he chooses to do his job rather than him having to adapt. Or her, depending on the mythology. Who would win, Zeus or Hestia? Hestia wins by not being involved in Zeus's BS. She's winning in all the ways that matter. Hey, what did Oedipus say when he learned who his wife actually is? What an eye-popping event! I love you guys. What's my least favorite mythology? Scientology. Screw that. Screw that whole thing. Screw that scam. Favorite dessert? Favorite dessert is Wilda's oatmeal raisin cookies. She's made them for me before. They are absolutely delicious. Yes, I'm an oatmeal raisin man. Sue me. If the Kraken will be in the Greek deck, will there be a Kraken in the Norse deck since originated from Norse? So here's the thing. We do have the Norse Kraken in the Norse deck. We actually, originally we were going to call Cetus in the Greek deck the Kraken as well, as a sort of nod to Clash of the Titans. But as time went on, I realized, you know what, people want mythical accuracy, so we've changed the name back. In the Greek deck, it'll be called Cetus, as is mythically accurate, and in the Norse deck, it'll be called the Kraken. So that's how it's going to be. And yes, two different monsters. It'll be a giant octopus in the Norse deck, whereas in the Greek deck, it's more like some Lovecraftian creature. How's Uranus today? Well, look up and you'll see. I'm not showing you my Uranus. Are there theoi equivalents for other mythologies? There is a pretty good one for Norse, but I actually don't remember the name of the website, because I have a lot of Norse books, so I typically go to the books more than I do websites for Norse mythology. But I remember there's a pretty good one for Norse. I just can't remember what it's called. Is Thanatos a primordial? Yes, he kind of is. He is... like, there's stories of Thanatos being primordial death, and then there's other ones, I believe, of him being well, he's a son of Nyx either way, actually. But some writers put him more on the primordial and some more on the minor god level. So I like to think of it kind of like Eros, where he's kind of both and was probably born multiple times, you know? Who's actually the god of the sun in Greek mythology, Apollo or Helios? So Helios is more the sun incarnate, and he was definitely god of the sun before Apollo because he's older than Apollo. But there are literally ancient Greek artworks of Helios having the actual sun as his head, which doesn't work in all of his stories, because then there's another story where his son is pulling the sun chariot without Helios, so it's a little inconsistent. But I personally always liked to go by, hey, Helios was original god of the sun, just like Iapetus was original god of the underworld, and Oceanus was original god of the ocean, but then Titanomachy happened, gods took over, and then their positions got replaced by Hades and Poseidon and Apollo as the new sun god. And I liked Rick Riordan kind of did the exact same thing in, like, the Trials of Apollo. It says Apollo just took over Helios's position, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I always saw it. Are we going to address the elephant in the room? Why are people writing Europeans out of their own histories and mythologies? It's like, I think that's just the elephant in the room on all kinds of things. Like with that stupid Queen Cleopatra show. Like, if that's a whole way deeper discussion and whatnot. I personally, yeah, I think it's best to, if you're going to adapt like a Greek mythology thing, for example, it's best to have all the characters be looking as Greek as possible, unless there's specific characters who are specifically described as either coming from other places or looking different than their peers, which is a thing. Like it's happened in certain stories. And the same for like Japanese culture and like African culture and all of that stuff. But people, don't want to work their way up to actually showcasing other cultures. They want to go, hey, what's a culture everyone's already talking about? Let's insert other people into that. It's like, in my opinion, that's disrespectful to those other cultures, because then you're saying, no, those other cultures can't stand on their own. They need ours to prop them up. And it's like, that's ridiculous. I never understood that. Landon Matthew, thanks for the $5. Do you plan to do mythical inaccuracies in the video game Hades? It's on the list. I'd like to get something on that out before the second game's fully released. I think that's a good timeline for it. They lie. Doctor Who does not get worse from there. It gets better with David Tennant. Oh, no, I'm not saying it gets worse immediately after that. I'm saying people said the new seasons that recently came out were terrible. And so I was like, I don't want to get more invested and then have a really shitty, like, ending or catch-up or whatever. Like, I hear David Tennant's seasons are really good. I love David Tennant, so maybe I'll watch his seasons and then stop. I don't know. What's my favorite Lego theme? That's hard. That's really hard, actually. Bionicle. Let's say Bionicle. Like, it's not a thing anymore, but I loved Bionicle so much growing up, to the point that I recollected all of the Toamata when I got older. You can see them in the background of some of my videos. Are you a fan of cosmic horror like Lovecraft? A little bit. Like, I'm not, like, actively seeking a ton of it out, but I like when it comes up. So I guess you could say I'm a casual fan. What non-myth-related media would you like to cover? There was a time where I considered, like, starting reviewing Lego sets on the channel, but then again, those do technically have myths in them and stuff. I'd always loved, like, one thing I'd love to do, like, but I have plenty to do already, so I don't know if it'll ever happen. I'd love to just talk about some of my favorite games growing up, like the Jak and Daxter series and stuff. I just loved those to death. Air Tank, thanks for the $5. While we should keep ethnicity as real to myths as possible, look at the great casting of gods of Egypt. Okay, I think you're trolling, Air Tank, but funny comment. Scapegoat, thank you for the donation. Sorry I'm late. Great job with God of War. Thank you. I appreciate that. Who is on? Oh, you want me to go through my whole list of what to do on the mythical inaccuracies thing? Well, it's a little tricky because the list is on my phone, and I'd have to stop the live if you want me to look at it. But I'll tell you some of the stuff that's on the list. Moana, Aladdin, Blood of Zeus Season 2, Record of Ragnarok Season 2, Twilight of the Gods, Chaos, Jason and the Argonauts, the Disney Hercules TV show. What else is on the list? Hades. What's that pit game? Kid Icarus Uprising. That's also on the list. Immortals Phoenix Rising. God of War Valhalla, of course. And there's some for you. Some of the stuff that's on the list. What's my favorite Percy Jackson book? Last Olympian. I love big battles, which is one reason I love the Aragon series so much. Did you make or buy your outfit? I love that you think I'm that talented. I bought this. I got this on Amazon.com. Shiva versus Chaos. Who wins? I'll say if I had to put my money on one, it would probably be Shiva, because Shiva is far more believed in than Chaos ever was, and I believe faith gives a god power. So there you go. Sid, thank you for the $2. Differences in Siegfried and Sigurd's story, please. That's something I want to do a whole video on, because that requires some deep research, actually. So, it is something I want to do. You'll probably see it in the future. How long have you been live? 15 minutes about, I want to say. OMG, Ed Sheeran. You know what? Multiple jobs I've worked. I used to work at an attraction. Kids would come in and would actually think I was Ed Sheeran. It was really funny. They'd be like, oh my God, Ed Sheeran works here. And I would just play into it. I'd be like, yes, yes, he does. What's your favorite merch that you own? What is my favorite merch that I own, period? That's really difficult. But it might be this little R2D2. And it's because Wilda got this for me for Christmas. She knew I really, really wanted it. And she was pretty broke, actually, that season. So I told her, you don't have to get me a Christmas gift. I love you. We'll just leave it at that. And then on Christmas, she surprised me with this. This was expensive and hard to get at the time because it was sold out at a lot of places. But she went out of her way to get me a really great gift. And I was so stunned I didn't even know what to say when I opened it. So I love it not just because it's a wonderful piece of merch, but because of the story behind it. So it's very important to me. Ish the Fish, thanks for the $1. There's no message, but thanks for the $1. Could you ever add Lovecraftian stuff into your card game? Yes, I actually may eventually do that. It's something I would actually like to do. But first I want to put in, the more real mythologies. Like Lovecraftian, if I added that in, it would probably be the last thing that I put in the game. I would love to get to the point where there's like 20 cultures in the game. That's like my big goal. Right now we have 7, and I do have an 8th one ready to go once I get original artwork for it. But I would love to get up to 20. Scapegoat, thank you for another donation. Have you seen the Blood of Zeus Season 3 trailer? Yeah, it actually looks pretty darn good. Honestly. It looks pretty darn good. I didn't record a reaction because we were all still heavily working on the, and by all I mean me and Shane, we were still heavily working on the God of War Ragnarok vid, and I was tired and I just wanted to watch the trailer, but it was a good trailer, honestly. I'm excited for Season 3. One thing I'll state, just to make sure it doesn't happen, please do not spam the chat. I hate banning people. I hate banning people. Please don't put me in that position. So, if you have a question, just ask it, and don't ask it a whole bunch of times. If I don't answer it, ask it again maybe 5 minutes later. How about that? How about that? Okay? Can you cover the Fate series? Someday I will, I promise. But it's not anytime soon. I have so much other stuff to work on. Do you like Percy Jackson? Love Percy Jackson. The books. Like, wasn't all that happy with the show. It wasn't happy with the movies. You can see my videos on that. Oh, thanks for calling me the GOAT. I appreciate that. And thank you guys for the compliments on the God of War video. I'm glad you guys are so happy with it. I worked a lot, months on that video. And Shane busted his ass editing that video. And he put in a bunch of funny jokes. And I thought of a bunch of funny jokes. I'm glad people are laughing at them. Really great. Heroes of Olympus needs a movie. It would be, like, interesting to just jump to a movie for Heroes of Olympus. There'd be so much context missing. The Fates versus the Norns, who wins? Fate versus Fate, who wins? Come on, like, you know what? I'll say the Fates. The Norns couldn't stop Ragnarok, so then there's no Ragnarok in Greek mythology, so maybe the Fates know something we don't. Well, I'm sure they know a lot we don't, actually. Sean, thank you for the $2. Thoughts on the Heroes of Olympus books? I really enjoyed them. I thought the ending was a little rushed. Like, I won't give big spoilers, but what ends up happening with the gods and the giants felt like, what was that, 2 pages and we're done? Like, I wanted more. After all that buildup, I wanted more of a big finale, you know? What's the best mythology? My 2 favorites are Greek and Japanese. Greek because I know it the best, Japanese because it's the craziest. Favorite god visual? You mean like in my game? That's really hard. That's really hard. But I think our Agni image looks fucking amazing. That's definitely one of them. But I also really love our Hades image. I've revealed the Hades image on the Instagram. You can go check it out. Oh, wow. You look like a Grapus. That's awesome, dude. Thank you? When did Kratos ever do that? Doesn't Ares end the world in Greek myth? No. No, he does not. That video is a lie. I know what video you're referencing. It got really popular. It's a lie. It is 100% a lie, and I need to make a video on it because I'm so tired of everyone thinking it's true. I don't know why he lied about that shit, but I promise you it's not true, and I checked every source. I checked everywhere. And I just checked every possible source. There is no ending in Greek mythology. Ares does not turn against Zeus. That war does not happen. There is no promise that the gods will leave the mortals alone. No, that video is not true. And you can partially tell that it was chugged out because it's all AI imagery that he's using in that video. It's not true. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he just decided to make shit up and lie to everybody. Okay, love your Ragnarok video, no joke, thank you. When you mentioned how Heimdall could see everything and said, I see you on the toilet, I was actually on the toilet, and I was like, what the? That was Shane's idea. Like, Shane came up with some really funny jokes for that video. What's the difference between prophets and oracles in Greek mythology? What are their different abilities and responsibilities? So, like, a prophet and an oracle, it's like an oracle is someone who can actively see the future. Whereas a prophet is more of a messenger, you know? Like a prophet is someone who is speaking on behalf of a god. An oracle technically is too, but I'd argue like a prophet is like when you tell your buddy, hey, go tell them this. Whereas an oracle is someone who's seeing into the future and being like, oh shit, I know what's gonna happen. You know, it's different. You could argue an oracle is a type of prophet because gods give them that ability. So, you know, it's like that. What happened to Heracles' original name, Alcides? So actually, yeah. When Heracles was born, he was either called Alcaeus or Alcides, depending on the translation. When Hera sent the two snakes to kill him as a baby, his adoptive parents thought, oh, we don't want we don't want Hera to try to kill him again, so we're going to name him after her. We're going to change his name to Heracles, which means glory to Hera, because they thought now she'll be happy and won't want to kill him. It didn't work, but that is the reason why they changed the name. I'd argue oracles are virgin maidens, prophets are neither. It depends on what part of Greece you're in, whether or not they make the oracle a virgin maiden. But that is a thing. You are correct. Have you played Black Myth Wukong? Oh, dude, I played through it 3 times. I platinumed the game. Love the absolute shit out of it. Again, you can watch it. I have some of our gameplay of it on this channel, and the full gameplay is over on Zaggard's channel. So go check it out. Considering all the mythology is real and only one ruler over their respective land, Greek gods. Okay, so assuming all mythology is real, where would I choose to live? If it's all real, I would probably choose to live in India because their gods are the most for the people, I would argue. And I wouldn't choose Japan, not because of their gods, but because of their mythical creatures. I don't want my bed trying to kill me. I don't want my towels trying to kill me. Please. All right. Anthony, thanks for the $2. You gonna watch People Season 2? High hopes. I didn't know there was a show called People, but I'll take a look. Random dude off the internet, thank you for the donation. Which characters do you think would have had a fast food addiction? Preferably someone we'd least expect, but we could see them just loving fast food. So I think an easy answer to that would be Dionysus. He is a god of indulgences. Who's one I don't think we'd expect, though, to have a fast food addiction? You know what I could see being funny? Because a lot of people like eat when they're depressed by missing someone. What if Hades was into fast food while Persephone is not in the underworld? So like for 4 months or so, like he just gains a bunch of weight, like that's his holiday weight. And then when she's gonna arrive in 2 months, he's like, shit, I gotta drop this real quick. I'm gonna go for a run with Cerberus. That could be fun. My sister died, unfortunately. Can you please support me? I'm very sorry to hear that. You have my support. Who are you? I don't know. I don't know who I am. What Greek god could be the biggest chain smoker? Oh, God. Um, Hera, probably. You know, like, one thing people don't talk about a lot, but back in the old days, and still to an extent this day, a lot of angry, bitter housewives developed huge smoking habits. So I could definitely see Hera getting into that. Anthony, thanks for the other $2. I meant PJO, not people. Oh! Okay, yeah, autocorrect gets you like that. Yes, I will be watching season 2, and I will be making videos on it. Don't worry. Orb Dalek, thank you for the donation. When does the fact Metis is playing as Zeus's conscious come into play other than the time it happened? It's not specifically talked about in future stories, kind of like how Odin having the wisdom of the will of Erd isn't specifically talked about after it happens. It's just something to establish intelligence later. Even though Zeus isn't all that intelligent, I don't know. Would you ever consider adding pop culture fictional gods and pantheons like Marvel's fictional gods? So into my card game, you're saying? You know, I have thought about stuff like that. If I could do a collaboration, first of all, I need to get permission from whatever franchise is running it. But if I could get collaboration with a fictional mythology, the first one I'd want to get would be Song of Ice and Fire, actually. I'd love to go, hey, George R. R. Martin, can I put your gods and characters in my game as like a fun cross promo thing? Because it would be really cool. There would be enough gods because he's got like he's got 4 different religions. I'd obviously just merge it all into one. Plenty of warriors, decent amount of monsters. It would be cool. I could put the 7 in: the mother, the maiden, the crone, and the father, the warrior, the blacksmith, and the stranger. Those are the 7. And then I could put the old gods in. I'd need to learn more about them. And then I could put in the drowned god, the Lord of Light, and the many-faced god. That would be really awesome. And, you know, then I could put in, like, giants, White Walker, White General, Dragon, White Dragon, each of the different individual named dragons. Warriors, come on, everybody's a warrior. It would be pretty cool to do in the game. LeBron James lore, please. I don't know. He was in Space Jam too. That's what I know about LeBron James. How does Greek mythology end? It doesn't have an ending. That's how. There you go. It's an open-ended mythology. Mythologies having endings is not a common thing. It's Norse has it, Hinduism has it, and Christianity has it. Those are the ones I can think of. Oh, and Aztec has it. If you could, would you add PJO characters into your card game? I don't see why not. Like, but I'd need some way to distinct them from the canonical Greek mythology characters. Air Tank, thank you for the $5. ASOIAF is great. Oh, A Song of Ice and Fire is great. I hate George R. R. Martin in D&D. Also, there's nothing to know about the old gods. Finish the books, George. Finish them. Okay, I don't hate George R. R. Martin, but I understand why people are annoyed that he is taking so long to finish the damn books. I think one of the reasons I give George R. R. Martin a little more leeway than most people is I'm a creator myself who's fallen behind on so much shit. So I do sympathize to an extent. And one thing people, I think, need to take into account a little bit, it doesn't justify everything, but one thing to take into account is everyone saying he's spent the last 13 years working on Winds of Winter and it's still not out. That's true, but remember, during that time, he did also write... it's over there, I'm not going to reach for it. He did also write Fire and Blood. So he wasn't doing nothing during that time, at least. He did put another book out, so at least there was that. But I agree. I would love Winds of Winter to come out, please. The epic when I finish it. That's one. It's hard for me to give you guys a definitive release date because I'm trying to make the videos as like well researched and good as I possibly can. So I don't want to give you guys a release date and then not meet it. So that's the thing. Like I just do the best I can. What do you think the geopolitical landscape of mythology would look like? Oh, it would be a mess. It would be insane. Can you imagine? Fuck. Where can I find mythology books? At a Barnes & Noble or on Amazon.com are 2 good places to look. It's where I got most of mine. Are you a Greek god of stories? Well, I'm not Greek. Maybe you could argue I'm a Scottish Georgian god of stories. I love your Hercules video. There it went. Back up, back up. I love your Hercules video. I refer to it whenever people talk about the Disney movie now. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it so much. I hope you're not being a buzzkill, though. I do still think it's a really great movie. In all mythology, which god and goddess have the best physique in a bodybuilding perspective? Best physique would probably be, it's a cop-out to say this, but I'm just going to say Heracles. And then goddess, probably Ishtar. And you know why I'll say Ishtar? Well, actually, you said from a bodybuilding perspective, but I like to say Ishtar because Ishtar is both an insanely badass goddess of war and a caring goddess of fertility and a goddess of love. So that means she has to be gorgeous, ready for battle, and ready for biological needs. So come on, if you're ready for all three of those, I think you've got the perfect body type, right? It's got to be amazing. Good for Ishtar. Ayushi, thank you for that donation. I'm not familiar with that currency, but thanks for 100 of it. Favorite Hindu god, and by the way, love your videos. Oh, thank you. My favorite Hindu god is Kali. Love Kali. Love everything about her. Scully, thanks. Scully. Skylar, thanks for the donation. Hi. Hi to you as well. Okay, by the way, I'm sorry I'm not answering all the chat stuff. I'm trying. You guys are just, like, being so supportive and wonderful. Some of it's flying by. Do Asura's Wrath. That's also on the list. Thank you for reminding me. Who would win in a fight? Thor versus Zeus. I think if Zeus got up... yeah, I've answered this before. I think if Thor got up close, he'd win. I think from a distance, Zeus would win. Why? They both have the most powerful weapons in their mythologies. But Mjolnir is obviously a I have to hit you with it weapon, whereas Zeus's Master Bolt would likely work better from a distance. So that's my answer for you. Do Record of Ragnarok Season 2? At some point I will. Someone recommended a Dante's Inferno. That's also on the list. Don't worry. That's on the list. Love your channel. Thank you. I like your nips, bro. Oh, thank you very much. Gotta wait for the technician. You're so cute. Hello, Lord Thor. Hello. Do you like the Sandman comic? I do, really, honestly. I don't think I've read the whole thing, though. I remember I was reading it at Barnes & Noble, like at their little Starbucks. I was reading it while drinking hot chocolate. I was really enjoying it. Like, I wanted to get a little familiar after watching the TV show. So yeah, do you believe in God? I do. I am Christian myself. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I don't believe we have all our facts straight. I believe there's more to be discovered out there. And I love other cultures as well. But yeah, I do believe in God. I personally like the common sci-fi explanation on God and mythological gods. Do you think God is actually like a super advanced alien being or something like that? I think God is like this higher consciousness, most likely. And, you know, people always describe him as out above Earth in the heavens. It's very possible that means outer space. Again, like I said, I don't think we have all the facts, right? So there might be more to discover. The good old son, thank you for the donation. What mythology moment made you go, wait, that's kind of racist? And do you like Dune and Doom? I do like Dune. I love Doom. I remember I was reading the Saci in Brazilian folklore. So the Saci is I can't talk, is specifically described as having very black skin, like very black. And it's like a creature, it's like a genie trickster thing that'll go around fucking with all your shit. It just makes your life worse and worse. And that's not what I thought was racist. What I thought was racist was stuff like, all right, to get away from it, you have to go over water because it, like, black-skinned beings won't go over water. I was like, wait a minute, that's a racist stereotype. And then there was other stuff like that, like about smoking and taking its tobacco, and there were a whole bunch of black stereotypes in the Saci's folklore. I was like, hey, hold on. And there was similar stuff to that with the Filipino capre, how they were saying, you know, it's evil because it's big and very black skinned. It's trying to steal all of our women. And I was like, wait a minute. And even worse was the Filipino tambaloslos, which is described as a big, thick-lipped black man with a huge dick. And again, it's got all these black stereotypes. I was like, okay, you're not being subtle now. It goes the other way too, though. Like, Africans have these evil cannibalistic mermaids who are based on white people, and there's also this creature called the Pishtako, which is a negative stereotype of white people. Like, so it's all over the place, man. Air Tank, thank you for the $5. D&D were the directors. I know. I don't like them. I'm not defending them. They made the ending. Martin made multiple books and shows while ignoring the main series. Finish or just tell us you want. No, I get it. Like I said, I totally get it. I totally get it. Scapegoat, thank you for the donation. Zeus throws Hephaestus off the mountain. Kronos, I said to eat the bake, not yeet the baby. Oh, I love you guys. Okay, you're my favorite YouTuber? Thank you. So we're over 30 minutes in, so real quick, I'm going to deviate from the chat, so please don't donate or anything, because I don't want to miss your messages. I'm going to deviate from the chat, and I'm going to answer the Patreon questions, because one of the perks Patreon supporters get is guaranteed answers to their questions, so I will get on that right now. All right. Allergies. So, let's answer the Patreon people. First off, we have Claudius Blel, who has just joined the Patreon. Welcome to the Patreon, Claudius. Claudius says, hi, Mythology Guy. Perhaps simple question. Do you have a book list of suggested reading material about Greek mythology? I do have, I believe in the descriptions of every video, I have a link to an Amazon list I made called Myth Books I Recommend. So those are some that I highly recommend. And off the top of my head, I'll just tell you, like, if you want a good introduction, you get Dulair's Greek Myths. If you want to go a little past that, I would say get Stephen Fry's book, Jake Jackson's book, or Rick Riordan's Greek Gods and Greek Heroes books. Those are also fun. If you really want to get in-depth about it, though, pick up the ancient sources, like the Library by Apollodorus, the Theogony by Hesiod, or Homer's works, obviously the Iliad, the Odyssey. Then if you want, you can pick up the Aeneid and the Telegony if you want to keep going beyond that. But yeah, those are, and if you want a place that has a lot of it in one spot where it's actually all accurately displayed, Theoi.com is a really easy source for finding stuff. You can search specific characters and it'll tell you a ton about those characters. So that's also really good. So yeah, thank you, Claudius, for that. And next we have John Zatanna. Zatanna's been a member for almost 2 years now. Thank you for that, John. Okay, so he says, how do you feel about the name Melissa being Greek? I actually didn't know that. Interesting. Okay, but he also asks, unrelatedly, I've been reading Stephen Fry's Mythos, I just recommended that, and I'm having a great time with it. Well, there you go. I'm thinking also maybe reading his other Greek mythology books, especially the one about the Odyssey. I'm thinking after I do so, I will fully write and illustrate a comic book about the Odyssey in the Chaos universe, considering we won't get anything else from that. Yeah, that show got canceled, unfortunately. What are the things you think I should get the most right with? Okay, good question. So I'm assuming you mean it's going to be very much like the Chaos universe, because you can't use the exact shit that they do without potentially getting sued. Trust me, even though they're not making more seasons, people love to abuse copyright. So here's what I'll give you something you should know right now. Be very careful. So you said you're doing the Odyssey, right? Be very careful how you do the Odysseus, Circe, Calypso stuff, because people, I don't know if this is a recent thing or what, people have gotten really defensive and sensitive about that stuff, even though it didn't really happen. But people have gotten really, really like easily offended and upset by anything you say about Odysseus and Circe. Like, Did he sleep with her? Was he forced on by her? Same thing with Calypso. Did he want to sleep with her? Was he forced on by her? Like, just be really careful about that stuff. I would also say something I personally have wanted and I think would be really cool. I'd love like a little focus on Penelope, Odysseus's wife, because I think Penelope's awesome. I really like how she like was able to craftily prevent any of those men from taking advantage of her or getting her to marry them while she waited for her husband to get home and stuff like that. So I think it'd be interesting. How would the Odyssey go in the Chaos universe? Like, is it going to be an actual boat trip? Because Chaos changed so much. But also, like, I would say make sure Odysseus's crew like have character. Make it sad when they die. Because, spoilers, Odysseus loses his whole crew throughout the Odyssey. Make that really suck that happens. I think that would really lean into it. Also asks, did you ever think of becoming a mythology doctor or professor? Growing up, I had a lot of people, before I even started this channel, a lot of people were recommending me that I try to become a teacher because I knew a lot of mythology. And I thought about it, but it would require like so many more years of school. Like I'd have to get a teaching like certificate and everything. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I can't stand school. I didn't do well in school growing up. I really don't like it. Like, great if you do. A lot of teachers show my videos in their classes, and that is such an incredible honor that they do that. But I was not a good student, man. I did not get along well in school. And so I don't know if I could honestly... I still have nightmares about being back in school. I don't know if I could go through the steps needed to become an actual teacher. Even though I think I could have fun with it potentially. It's just, I don't know if I could do it. And I feel like I'm already teaching people with what I do now. So it's fun. Love your channel. Have a great day. Thank you. P.S. You'd think after 4 years you'd know how to end videos. Sheesh. A little peek behind the curtain. I may be intentionally ending videos the way I do. Also, just watched your God of War Ragnarok video. Really well done. Thank you. I was waiting for you to mention that there was a conversation between Mimir and Kratos where he talked about Oberyn, King of the Fairies. So Mimir might just be British, which is a whole other inaccuracy. Still loved it. 2 hours of pure bliss. So that kind of stuff I'm going to get into more in the Valhalla video, because Mimir talks a lot about that stuff in that video, and that's going to be a whole nother thing to go into. All right, that concludes John Zatanna. Lassie Ehrenreich. Lassie Ehrenreich says, hope you had a happy Easter. It was my birthday this month. Happy late birthday. Holy shit. In honor of that, I have a special revelation. This whole time you've been butchering the pronunciation of my name. I don't actually mind. I find it kind of funny. In case you're wondering how it's pronounced, it's how you would say molasses without the mo. So it's lasses? Molasses? I actually don't even know how to pronounce that. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm just going to keep butchering your name. Sorry, Lassie. Do you know why Apollo killed Marsyas after the music competition? He needed a scapegoat. Oh, that's good. I might steal that. Last time I asked if you watched Gentry Chow versus the Underworld, you said you hadn't. Please consider it. It's really good. I am considering it. I have a lot I'm doing. It's hard for me to add new stuff into what I do. Do you have any movies you like to watch at Easter? For me, it's Prince of Egypt and Rise of the Guardians. I'm also with you on Prince of Egypt. I love watching that. There are times I've specifically watched it for Easter. My dad used to put on King of Kings growing up every now and then, and I do think that's a really great film. It's not really on anymore, and I don't own it. I don't know if just cable channels don't want to show a Jesus movie or something. I'm not offended or anything. Is that the reason? I don't know. But I also don't think it's on Netflix or anything like that. It's not that I have cable, it's that the place that I live has cable. What's your favorite place you have ever been to? Mine is Skagen in Denmark. My favorite place I've ever been to outside of this country is well, It's for personal reasons, though. My favorite place to go outside of this country is Georgia, because then I get to see my Georgian side of the family and friends who I've known since like they were 4 years old. Like, so I just love being there with them. Honestly, had a lot of fun in the Philippines, though. That was a great trip. But I just love the shit out of Scotland. Scotland is so much fun. It's so much fun. So there's some answers for you. Next we have Soaring Rock. All right. Soaring Rock says, why do modern diagrams... Okay, I'll answer this really quick. Patrick, thank you for the $2. Just wondering if you've seen the 2 Nezha movies. No, I started watching the first one, and I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't enjoying it. The first 10 minutes I thought were really, really bad, so I stopped. I'm sure the second one's better. I just wanted to watch the first one first, and I couldn't handle it. So I stopped. Maybe Future Vid or something. Maybe it's because I was watching it in English. So Soaring Rock says, why do modern diagrams place the Norse realms on Yggdrasil's branches or roots, like a cosmic map, when myths show gods walking to places like Jotunheim, suggesting that they're connected realms? Well, I think the reason for that is like they're all very far apart. You can get to them if you're like Thor with the flying chariot or something, or like, you know, a god who's good at moving around. But that, I think Yggdrasil's roots are just rooted. It's like picture Yggdrasil as like the center of the earth with a root popping out in each country. That's what I think the 9 realms are probably like. Is Yggdrasil's diagram just Norse mythology's bad subway map? Okay, you came up with a similar thing to what I said. In the book that I'm still writing, I have Ratatoskr scurrying through the branches like tunnels to spy on all the realm's beings and collect gossip as Yggdrasil's busybody squirrel. I love that idea. That's an awesome idea. Besides Njord, Freyr, and Freya, are there other Vanir gods in Norse mythology? Some sources mention Njord's sister wife, possibly Nethris, but she's only named. Can you clarify? So that's actually something I was trying very hard to study for like the God of War videos, because you're right, they only like mention Njord, Freya, and Freya as specific Vanir gods. Now, some of the Vanir married some of the Jotun deities, like Njord married Skadi, and Freyr married Gerdur. Those were Jotun gods who you could say are now Vanir through marriage. There's also Skirnir. He is sometimes considered a Vanir god. But honestly, from all my research, I didn't find like definitive sets of like Vanir gods, which sucks. Like, it's really just those 3 as far as I can tell. So yeah, I'm here with you. I would also love an answer to that question. I get confused between Folkvanger and Sisrumnir. Is Folkvanger a distinct realm or part of Vanaheim? And is Sisrumnir Freya's hull within it, similar to Valhalla in Asgard? So Folkvanger is not... I've never heard any source describe it as its very own realm. Folkvanger is basically a place, like how Valhalla is a hall in Asgard. Folkvanger is a hall in Vanaheim, or sometimes considered an upside-down ship that the warriors go into. And I know what you're saying about Sisrumnir. It's possible that Sisrumnir is a specific section of Folkvanger, or just another name for it, kind of like the Svartalfheim Nidavellir situation. I just realized someone made a donation over here. Scapegoat, thanks for the donation with no message, but thank you for the donation. Okay, back to Soaring Rock. In Himiskvida from the Poetic Edda, Heimir is Tyr's father, and Hroldir is called Thor's adversary. But who is she really? His mother, Heimir's wife, or someone else? Can you confirm the source for these details? In my book, I'm taking liberties by making Hroldir secretly Frigg in disguise, using her foresight to birth Tyr with Heimir, so she can join Asgard, ultimately leading to Heimir's death and his giant's defeat. That's an interesting way to take it. I remember Hroldir as being like an ally to the Aesir, but yeah, I've seen the whole Thor's adversary thing. I personally like to look at it as like a friendly adversary sort of thing. And yeah, Tyr does have multiple different parentage stories in the myths, so it's really whichever one you want to pick. You can say it's Hymir, or you can say it's Odin. As for Hroder, like, I believe, if I recall correctly, it was kind of vague, which is why I didn't specifically, when I did the Ragnarok video, I didn't specifically say, yeah, Hroder is totally this and this. I just went by, overall, Hroder is supposed to be friendly to the Aesir, because it's not all that concrete, unfortunately. There's, like, a lot of variations. I don't remember exactly which source has which detail. It's hard for me to remember that stuff unless I write it down, which is why I tried to write it down and specifically say what I was referencing a lot in the Ragnarok vid. But yeah, again, unfortunately, it's hard for me to give you a definitive answer there. But I like what you did with it. I will say that. I really like what you did with that. I really loved your God of War Ragnarok vid. It definitely was worth the wait. Thanks again for everything that you do for us. I hope you had a good Easter. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the hell out of that. And yeah, I had a pretty good Easter. It was mainly just me and Wilda hanging out, but we had a good time. And that is all of the Patreon people. Let me check if any new ones came in during that time. No, they didn't. All right, I'm done with Patreon then. All right, back to you guys. How did the Norse gods govern themselves? Well, like, it was mainly Odin was on top, and he was making most of the rules. But they had a peace treaty with Vanaheim, so it stands to reason that Njord had, like, maybe just as much power. Chessie Chuck, thanks for the $2. My favorite movie, Percy Jackson and the 1 million inaccuracies. I love you guys. Do you think Zeus controls tornadoes? No, I would say that's more of an Aeolus thing. Zeus could probably tell him to stop, though, if he wanted to. Have you searched up the Greek goddess Soteria yet? No? Let's do that now. So, assuming you're not just messing with me. Soteria goddess. Goddess of safety. Oh! That's interesting. I didn't know about that one. So what you're saying is she's the one making all those announcements before you get on a ride. Please keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times. What are the Jotuns? They're a race in Norse mythology that is also often referred to as the giants. But they're not necessarily all giant, but a lot of them are. I like to say them being huge is a stereotype of their race. But yeah, they're a race like of supernatural creatures / monsters who are like an adversary of the Norse gods. But they do have their own deities like Skadi and others, and Aegir and shit like that. A lot of them get along well with the gods, a lot of them don't. It's like any other race of people. But different groups of them have special powers. The mountain giants have these really powerful illusion abilities, as shown in the tale of Utgard Loki. There's also frost giants, there's also earth giants, there's also fire giants, there's also stone giants. It's all over the place. Could you do a ranking of the Rick Riordan book series? By series? Okay, that's easier. I'd put Percy Jackson at number 1. I really like Trials of Apollo. I'd probably put that second, actually. Magnus Chase was really good at first. I didn't love the third book, though. So it's hard to say if I'd put that above Kane Chronicles or not. Let's just tie Magnus Chase with Kane Chronicles and put Heroes of Olympus, which I still love, but because it's ending, I didn't find all that satisfying. I'll put that one at the bottom, but again, I don't think there's a bad Rick Riordan series. Oh, no, wait, here's what's at the bottom, The Sun and the Star. Didn't like that book. That's technically its own series. Favorite adaptation? Lord of the Rings. Have you played Dark Souls or any Souls games? I've played Neo. Really like it. Love Neo. Assassin's Creed Valhalla when? I don't know. I've never played it. We need more games about Hades. I agree with you. Norse versus Celtic, how would that go? And thank you for the donation, Scapegoat. I could actually really see Norse versus Celtic happening because they're very close to each other and they're both very war-oriented, if you will. Well, here's the thing. The Norse lost most of their gods in Ragnarok, so Celtic would probably win. All Celtic has to do to win is they just need Lugh to whip out Balor's evil eye and point it at everyone, and they'll all die immediately. So assuming Celtic uses shit like that, Celtic wins. Kratos versus Maui. Kratos. What do you like about Norse mythology? I really like I like some of the twists in Norse mythology. Like, I love the ending of the Utgard Loki story, where it's revealed how much they've been fucking with him. I like that Norse mythology has, like, development, even though some of that is the result of Christian influence. I love that Loki became more of a villain over time and did something that had consequences. I like that their story does have an ending and that, like, a whole bunch of shit goes down. Like, it's all stuff that makes it pretty cool and pretty unique. I also really like the partying mentality to it. How many gods are constantly having feasts and mead and all that stuff. Really cool. Who was Susanoo's brother? Tsukuyomi, god of the moon. Oh, who was his mother? Oh, I misread that. You could just say, like, his mother was technically the water of the spring that Izanagi used to wash his face. Kind of like how the ocean is considered one of Aphrodite's parents just because, like, Uranus's balls fell in there, and that's how she was born. Matthew Harris, thanks for the donation. Prime Thor versus young Kratos. Well, how young we talking? Because if we're talking Kratos before God of War 1, he's not a god yet, so... And don't you tell me, yes he is, he's a demigod, that's not how Greek mythology works. So, probably Prime Thor? But if we're talking Kratos in, like, God of War 3, then I'd give it to Kratos. What's the most mythically accurate game you've ever played? Black Myth Wukong. Easy answer. Number 2 would probably be Hades. Did you watch the Sandman TV show? Yes, I did a video on it. Go check that out. What do you think of Chalice of the Gods? I haven't finished it. I got to the part with Hebe's place, and I haven't finished it yet. Have you played Sekiro? No, but I want to. You on meth? I'm on every drug ever, man. I'm high on life. No, I'm not on meth. I think you would know if I was on meth. How to defeat the Jotuns. Usually Thor, that's how. Thor with his hammer kills almost every Jotun. Scapegoat, thanks for the donation. As the Lady of the Lake is canon in God of War, how would you like Excalibur to work in the universe? I would really like Excalibur to work the way Mjolnir works in Marvel, where, like, you have to be chosen or worthy to wield it. Of course, in its actual OG story, you have to be the rightful king, because the Lady of the Lake has to give it to you. Well, okay, it's a little bit of a mix. The Sword in the Stone is the rightful king one, which is not Excalibur. But for you to have Excalibur, the Lady of the Lake has to choose you to wield it. So it is kind of a chosen thing. You know what I think would be cool? If the Lady of the Lake doesn't even like Kratos, but she's like, we're desperate. I need you to take this and use it. That would be really cool. And of course, Excalibur is supposed to be, like, one of the most powerful, like, blades. But if you misuse it, then it breaks. You could have a moment where it breaks while Kratos is using it because he misuses it. Then again, Kratos has grown a lot, so I don't know how that would work. Susanoo refers to Izanami as his mother. Yeah, but she's not his real mother. Like, I think that's just a term of endearment because he still on some level loves Izanami. Hi, Mythology Guy. Hi. What's your favorite mythology game? That's really hard. Since I'm sure Kingdom Hearts 2 doesn't count. Oh, wait, actually, it's not hard. Age of Mythology. Huge bias. Grew up with Age of Mythology. It's what got me into Norse and Egyptian. I love the shit out of Age of Mythology. I always will. I play it a lot. I still play it to this day. What do you mean the Sword in the Stone is an Excalibur? It's not. Like, read the book, 2 different swords. It's just a lot of adaptations merge the two together because it honestly makes more sense story-wise for them to just be the same sword, but they weren't the same sword in the original. Like, do you prefer Chinese or Japanese mythology? Chinese has Sun Wukong, who I love the absolute shit out of, but I'm gonna have to say Japanese because it's so much more insane, and I love the insanity of Japanese mythology. Can Greek gods actually be killed? It's usually no, but like there are some people who say that Kronos was killed, and some people say that Uranus was killed. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense. But usually the more common answer to that is no. Loving the nip slip? It's not a slip. Here it is. Enjoy it. It's there for you all to see. It's intentionally not covered. Doomsday, thank you for the $5. Explain the story of how Thor is the god of the tree. What? Thor, god of the... Hold on, now I gotta look this up. Thor, god of the tree. What are we referring to? While not explicitly god of the tree, his association with trees, with oak. Oh, are you talking about how, like, the oak tree is one of his symbols? Well, that's in a lot of Germanic stuff, like the importance of trees. In fact, the Celtics had a tree zodiac, for anyone who doesn't know. Instead of an animal zodiac, they had a tree one. It was really cool. What's your favorite mythology? Again, it's either Greek or Japanese. Don't spam GamerVix. I don't want to ban you. When you die, which afterlife process would you like to go through? Probably just heaven, because I assume you can have whatever you want in heaven. And look, I don't think I'm the greatest guy ever, but I think I'm good enough to not go to hell. I hope. We'll see. Scapegoat, thank you for another donation. He misused it on some on purpose, so it would break in some. What abilities should the sword have? Well, the purpose of the sword in the original story was literally was to unite, was to bring people together, to like command respect. So it would be interesting if the sword could be like actually, this could be interesting in God of War, if the sword could like lessen people's aggression and like just lessen your aggressive tendencies, like when you bring it out, and lead to like people being more in line with working together. Actually, here's a good story. Don't give the sword to Kratos, give it to the villain. Have the villain steal it somehow and have him pervert its use in order so that there can never be peace, and make the point of the game to get it back. That could be really cool. Okay, and then we have, whoa, big donation from Present99. Thank you so much for that. Wow. Just dropping in to say thank you for the videos and your work that you do. I hope you have a great day. Well, I'm having an even better day now. Thank you, Present, for your present and your presence. But seriously, thank you. That's really nice. Will you ever get a haircut? I get a haircut about twice a year. Chan, thanks for the $5. What did you think of Asura's Wrath? I haven't played it yet, but I really want to play it. Here's the thing. When we play it, we'll stream it. And you guys will know. And you guys will get to see my first reaction to everything. I saw the death battle, Kratos versus Asura. It made me really want to play the game, because the game looks freaking amazing. Least favorite Greek god. I've said this before. It's Hera, just because there's not a lot of fun stories with Hera, and she's so mean to everybody. Like, what happened to Odin's brothers? I don't think it's specifically listed what happened to them. They just aren't in any stories after the death of Ymir. You're talking about Vili and Ve, right? I think that the mermaid we see in God of War was the goddess Ran. Now, that would be cool. That would be really cool. Some people have told me it might be one of Ran's 9 daughters, which could also be cool. It's been confirmed they exist because Bara, one of the marbles Atreus holds up, that's one of Ran's daughters. But there's like no info on her other than she's one of Ran's daughters. Have you played the other Doom games besides Eternal? Yeah, we streamed the very first Doom game, the very second Doom game, Doom 2016, and Doom Eternal. And we're going to do Doom Dark Ages. So yeah, loved every single one of them. The only issue I had with the early Doom games was it was a little easy to get lost. That was it. Because Commander Centurion, thanks for the $2. What do you think of the Thunderbolts coming out? I want it to be good. What is it? The Russian Captain America. I love David Harbour so much, so I hope he's entertaining in it, and I want the movie to be good because I do want Marvel to come back. I liked the MCU. It's just it hasn't been all that good recently, except Deadpool and Wolverine. Is Odysseus a demigod? No. At least I don't think he is. I mean, no, not even in Percy Jackson he isn't. No, I mixed him up with Daedalus. No, Odysseus is not a demigod. Does PJO explain the Greek gods Does it explain the Greek gods mythologization, and how do they explain Christianity and Jesus and his miracles? I think they intentionally kind of avoid going deep into that. They did soft confirm Jesus exists in the Magnus Chase series because they said Thor's mad at Jesus for not dueling him or something. Can't lie, I'm just here because I like the vibes. Well, I'm glad you like the vibes. What is the best mythological heaven? I would say it's Valhalla, but you also get killed every day if you're in Valhalla, so I assume not everyone wants that. So it's, other than Christian heaven, it would probably just be Greek Elysium, because that's basically just heaven again. So it's probably one of those. Just because, it's just places where you get treated right and get what you want for your life. There you go. It's nice. What else do you need? Did you check out... Oh, whoa, $20 donation from Digested Raptor. Well, I'm sorry to hear you've been digested, sir. Thoughts on the Smite games? I know they don't really have in-depth info about mythologies, but I think it's an interesting way to learn about surface level info and spark curiosity and learn more. Also love the vids. Keep it up. Thank you. I didn't play Smite 2 because I was busy. Smite 1, I've said this before, I was one of the first people playing it because I love mythology, and I was like, yes, yes. As I played it, I was like, why are you calling Arachne a god? She's not a god. And then later on, there's stuff like, why are we calling Fenrir a god? Why are we calling Cerberus a god? Here's the thing, though. I'm not a big MOBA guy. I never enjoyed League of Legends. A friend of mine tried to get me to play it, and I just wasn't into it. Smite, I made a bit of an exception just because of the mythology stuff, but after, I want to say about 3 months or 4 months, maybe 6 months, I was just like, okay, I can't kid myself anymore. This is not my type of game. But I still, I would still check in every now and then just to see who they were adding out of curiosity. And yeah, they added a whole lot to that game, which is cool. I don't know anything about what Smite 2 is like, though. What's your thoughts on Hodder, Baldur's brother? Poor guy. He got tricked into killing his own brother, and then he got killed for it. So, his story just kind of sucks, honestly. Poor dude. Did you check out Olympians, the graphic novel I mentioned last time? I wrote it down, but I haven't checked it out yet. Most underrated mythology. Aztec. It never gets used in anything. I love Aztec, and I want to see Aztec mythology video games and movies come out. I feel like so many people are scared to do it because they're worried about offending people. And it's like, no, just go nuts. Say hi? Okay, hi. Have you played Darksiders? Yeah, but I didn't finish it. If I play it again, we'll stream it. I hate the art style of Smite. All the male characters are overly masculine and not properly sexualized, while the female characters are super femmy and overly sexualized with TNA. Fair enough. Some people are into that. Again, it's been a while since I checked it out, so yeah, that's a funny way of looking at it. Decario, thank you for the donation. What's your opinion on the name Surtur's Forge for my business where I sell flaming swords? Any other suggestions, maybe? I love your vids. Bro, you hit it on the head. Surtur's Forge? That's such an amazing name. I guess you could call it Surtur's Anvil or something, but Surtur's Forge is just chef's kiss. That's better. Like if I were starting a business like what you're doing, my first thought would be like, oh, let's call it just call it like Muspelheim or something or shit like that. But I love your idea. Like that's some awesome That's some great branding. Searcher's Forge. Hell yeah. Hell the fuck yeah. You could have like a logo of like him building the sword or something. That would be really cool. Really freaking cool, dude. I love how creative some of you guys are. What genre do you like better, sci-fi or fantasy? Probably fantasy. I love sci-fi though, but I've said before, I technically like Lord of the Rings a little more than I like Star Wars, so I think that gives it an edge. Also, some of my favorite movies are Disney's Hercules and Pirates of the Caribbean. Both of those are fantasy. My love of mythology kind of leans into fantasy, so it's probably fantasy. Do you like Marvel's Thor movies? I like him enough. Like, I don't love him. I love Chris Hemsworth's like portrayal of the character. I think he does a great job. But yeah, the first movie was kind of The second movie is kind of bad. The third movie's funny, but nothing like the comics or the mythical stuff. And then Love and Thunder I liked at first because I wasn't taking it seriously, but then when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, wait, that movie was pretty bad. Scapegoat, thanks for another donation. Have you been working out? You look great. Thank you. Wow. I actually haven't worked out in a while, but I've been making it a point to go outside every single day and get that vitamin D, get a good walk in or a little jog, and I'm eating better, mainly because Wilda's cooking for me a lot. She's making me all these delicious meats, and maybe that's why. I don't know. But thank you very much. Thor versus Heimdall. Who wins? I think Thor. I think it's outwardly stated in Norse myth that Thor is like Odin's like main man. Have you seen Epic the Musical? Yes. Really enjoyed it, and I'm working on a video. Do an impression of Hera yelling angrily at Zeus. Alright. Zeus! Is this how you face me, coward? I am done doing the bidding of my husband. Wait, that sounds like something... No, it doesn't. That's a pure Hera right there. Funniest mythology, Japanese. Easy answer. There is so much fun. I have laughed out loud doing Japanese mythology research multiple times. Could you do a ranking of the Arkham series? Sure. Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight. I'm sorry, I didn't like Arkham Knight. The story was terrible. I hated... Fuck, spoiler alert. I hated that it was Jason Todd. That was the dumbest shit ever. Like, I also hated that 80% of the boss fights were not boss fights. You tackle them and it's over. There was no Deathstroke boss fight. There was no Firefly boss fight. It's just tackle the end. I didn't like that shit. So, yeah. Stuff like that. And I liked Arkham Origins, actually. I don't know why so many people didn't. I guess performance issues, but it wasn't a problem for me. Air Tank, thank you for the $5. I want to play and beat Wukong, but it's hard, and I have a point where the treat of winning and the difficulty of winning is not worth it. How do I? My best advice I can give you is two things. Do all the side shit, all of it, to power up for the bosses. And when you do fight the bosses, learn their patterns. Pattern recognition is key to defeating them. If you know what each of their telegraphed moves are, you know how to dodge them. I know it's not a game for everyone. I get it. If in the end you don't want to do it, you can probably just watch some Let's Plays if you want to get the gist of it. But I found the bosses are way easier to beat if you go do all the side shit first, because then you power up. You power up a lot by doing that stuff. And, so that's the good thing about it. Scapegoat, thank you for yet another donation. Elder Cyclopes versus Dwarves versus Telkines, Forge War. I'll give it to the Dwarves, because Dwarves can literally make stuff out of stuff that literally doesn't exist. So there you go. If you could make one mythology real and replace Christianity, which one would it be? Well, I wouldn't want to do that. Again, like even though I love all of these mythologies, I love reading them. It's like I wouldn't want to live there, because who wants to live in a world where Zeus is walking around? Who wants to live in a world where yokai are walking around? Who wants to live in a world that's going to end at Ragnarok? Again, since I said, like, if I was going to live in one other than Christian, it would probably be Hindu. I guess the answer would be Hindu. Like, because again, I think that's the most doable mythology. Why did you start your channel? Hey, there's something I haven't been asked in a while. Okay, it was Wilda's idea. Wilda is my girlfriend, for anyone who doesn't know. Wilda and I met at an acting job. We were working a really fun tourist attraction job where we would both perform, and we had a great time doing it. And I was also doing stand-up comedy on the side. And I wanted to get a job in entertainment, and Wilda knew that. I was also a huge myth enthusiast because I have been since I was a kid at the time, and Wilda knew that. And as time went on, it got the place we were working at, we weren't able to work there anymore, and acting work is not easy to find where we live. So at some point, Wilda told me, go on TikTok. And I said, no. I said, I'm not using that stupid app. And she said, listen, just use it as an outlet. You have a lot of jokes you want to make, right? Like, just make some jokes on TikTok, see if it pops off. And part of the reason for this was I had tried to build an audience on Vine years earlier, and it was working, actually. I was gaining followers, I was building an audience on Vine, and then they shut Vine down. I was like, oh, well, so much for that. And she told me, just use TikTok. It's like the new Vine. And so I was like, all right, I guess I could post some jokes. I just haven't thought of anything in a while. And she said, here's an idea. Like, if you want to set yourself apart, why don't you lean into your love of mythology? And I was like, do you think that would work? And she was like, look, you're always telling me funny facts about mythology, because I was telling her funny jokes about how Zeus was always banging everyone and about how weird some of the yokai are and stuff like that. And she said, you make me laugh so much with that stuff. Put it on the internet. And so I was like, all right, I'll try. And I did. And it actually popped off pretty quick. The first month I was on TikTok, I got 5,000 followers. That's the dream for some people, and it kept going. And then on Halloween, I posted a Stingy Jack video where I had to talk really fast because I wanted to get the whole story out, and you couldn't make a video longer than 60 seconds. So I was there going, and Stingy Jack did this, and apparently that people loved that so much that that video got millions of views. And so that like really helped a lot. Also, I did a joke about Zeus humping people in Greece that also got tons and tons of views. And like when I saw how many views these videos got, I dropped my phone. I was so shocked. And so yeah, it became a big TikTok page, got up to hundreds of thousands of followers, but I wasn't making any money off it. And again, I wasn't a big TikTok consumer. I was a YouTube consumer. So it's like, oh, maybe I'll just, like, TikTok lets you download your videos. Maybe I'll just also put them on YouTube, see how that works. And it worked very slowly. But then Wilda was like, hey, you know what's a big trend on YouTube? If this character had Tinder. And so I was like, okay, we can try that. And so she and I together made some of those Tinder videos. And then the YouTube started blowing up and started getting thousands and then tens of thousands of followers. When it reached 1,000, I was so grateful I decided to make a review of Mulan. It did okay. And then it reached 100,000. I was like, oh my god, amazing. And so I made a review of The Lightning Thief. 300,000, I experimented with the Hercules inaccuracy video, and we all know how that turned out. 10 million views now. And it's been a great trip ever since. So that's the story. What are your thoughts on Idris Elba as Heimdall? Very mythically inaccurate, obviously. Heimdall's supposed to be the widest of the gods. He's also supposed to have either golden or emerald teeth. But putting that aside, even though that is an issue, putting that aside, though, his performance is excellent. Like, the way he behaves is how I would want Heimdall to behave. I actually really love Idris Elba's performance as Heimdall. And so that's why... Also, it's like... Those movies aren't accurate at all anyway, so it's like, might as well just take them for what they are. So I think he does a good job overall. Have you ever... I haven't played any Prince of Persia games, sorry. What is your take on the tariff situation? I don't know anything about politics. It sounds insane. But I hope it clears up by the time we launch our card game. That's my best hope. Thoughts on AC Odyssey? AC Odyssey... Again, we do have playthroughs. We were really enjoying it at first, and then the mercenary system ruined it. Every time we did anything, even stuff just for the story, 20 mercenaries would come after us. And if you kill the mercenaries, you just get more goddamn mercenaries. It's so annoying. I hate it. I hate that system. You're awesome. Thanks for the content. Thank you. If you could direct any mythology movie, what story would you direct? Probably Heracles. I would love to see a proper version of Heracles done. Have you ever read Dacian mythology? No, I can't say I have. Why did Zeus never step into Australia? Because he was ostracized. Very funny. Ooh, the chat's flying by. Hi, how are you? I'm okay. I'm pretty happy right now. Favorite epic song, and did you listen in order or without animatics? No, I found a playlist of it in order with animations, and I watched it that way. It was a lot more fun that way. My favorite song is Survive. Love that one. How long have you been a One Piece fan? Since I was a kid. It used to play on Foxbox or 4Kids TV, depending on what year it was. And then it was a Saturday morning cartoon for me. And yeah, I know people say the 4Kids version, that's the shitty version. Well, that's the version that was on. What do you want from me? And then I grew up and I was like, hey, I should finish that series I watched as a kid. And I was like, wait, it's still fucking going? What the hell? So yeah. Opinion on Odysseus from Epic. It's not 100% accurate, but they did a good job making him an enjoyable protagonist, I thought. So, they did what they were trying to do. Good job. Heracles versus Huitzilopochtli. That's a tricky one, actually. Huitzilopochtli defeated the entire solar system. It might be him, honestly. Who was really Susanoo's mother is actually a really complex topic. It is, I agree. Hermes told Odysseus not to refuse the advance of a goddess. No, Thor can throw the hammer. My birthday is on May 1st. Are you open to Gnosticism? I'm open to any, religion or whatever, honestly. And happy early birthday, my friend. An unpopular gaming opinion I have. Okay, this is, here's one that I know is unpopular. I didn't like God of War 1 when I first played it, and I still think it's a game that has not entirely aged well in some ways. But in my defense, I played God of War 3 first, and that game improves on all that shit that I have a problem with in the first God of War game, and a little bit in the second one. My biggest problem with God of War 1 is walking across those stupid beams. Hated it. Hated every second of it. But I love God of War 3, legitimately. And I also really like God of War 2 and the spin-offs. And I love the shit out of the Norse games. Aside from Heracles, Theseus, who else completed labors? Krishna. Krishna completed a whole bunch of labors, if you count all the things he had to go through to get his revenge and also to defeat all the monsters that came at him. So there's one for you. Also, what's his name? Isun Boshi sort of did. Who is Orphic Zeus? I'm not sure what the difference is. What do you think the most accurate game based on... Oh, I said this already. Black Myth Wukong, and then number 2 would probably be Hades. What do you call a strange sea? An odyssey. Oh, that's great. Who's stronger, Atlas or Hercules? So Atlas is like the titan of endurance. Heracles is the god of strength. I'm going to say Atlas because, look, Heracles probably could have held the sky forever if he had to. But Atlas literally does hold the sky forever. And I'm going to assume that him doing that is just building more and more strength as he does it. So I'm going to say Atlas. Scapegoat, thanks for yet another donation. Christian Fincher will turn the blood in your body to wine. Wow. Okay. Sounds like something Jesus would do. Orphic Zeus is overpowered. You know what I think would be legitimately cool, but will never happen? And I know why it would never happen. A horror movie where Jesus is the villain. Because just imagine, Jesus just points at you and all the blood in your body turns into wine. What kind of body horror shit would that be? What a way to die that would be. That would be horrific. And he can resurrect the dead also, Lazarus and stuff like that. Indra beats Hercules, in my opinion. Could be. Who is the strongest in Greek mythology and Norse mythology, in your opinion? Well, in Greek, it's chaos. In Norse... Probably Magni, because Magni lifted Hrungnir off Thor, who couldn't lift him, and Thor is described as an absolute powerhouse in Norse mythology, so it's probably Magni. Horror Jesus would be peak. Okay. By the way, little tip, it's harder for me to answer your questions if they're longer, because then they fly by in the chat. Harder to read. What would your reaction be to a Roman movie where all the characters are named Jupiter, Neptune, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Diana, and Pluto, but the main character is named Heracles through the whole movie? Justice. That would be my thoughts on it. That would be my thought. Hey, question. Will you cover the Valhalla DLC for Ragnarok? Just curious. Yes, I will. Did you watch the Norwegian show on Netflix, Ragnarok? No, but it's on my list of things to check out. Can you tell any drunk story of Dionysus? Yeah, when he got drunk and got kidnapped by pirates and woke up on their ship and said, hey, let me go or I'm gonna fuck you up. And they said, no, we're not gonna let you go. And he turned them all into dolphins. There you go. Any Huitzilopochtli story? Okay. How about the story of how after his siblings killed his mother, he got born out of her womb even though she'd been killed, fully grown as a man, chopped his oldest sister's head off, and then fucked up his other siblings. And his sister's head became the moon, which is why the moon leaves whenever the sun rises, because that's Huitzilopochtli, and she's like, oh, hell no, I don't want to be near him. And his other siblings became the stars, which is why they leave too. Jevil, thanks for the $1. Heracles versus Hercules. It's the same character. What do you want from me? Can I ask if you like mythos in video games, like Elder Scrolls? I don't really know the Elder Scrolls mythos that much. I used to play Elder Scrolls Online a lot, but even then I didn't really know the mythos. But it is very clearly based a little bit on Norse, at least. A lot of video game mythologies are based on real mythologies. But I guess, Middle Earth is based on Lord of the Rings, which, even though it has its original shit, it is still based on 3 different mythoses. But I like that kind of stuff. It's just a lot of the time, it's hard for me not to just draw parallels to the real mythologies that they're already based on. Marvel or DC Comics? Comics? DC. Easy. My opinion, anyway. Especially, I think recent Marvel comics have been really bad. I'm sorry. Digested Raptor, thank you for another $10. Thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh? God, I love Yu-Gi-Oh. Do you know of other things similar, such as taking in a simple kid thing or game and mixing it with some mythology to make you go, what the hell is this and how does this work? Didn't Beyblade do that? Also, doesn't Shaman King do something kind of like that? Well, that's not a kid's game, is it? I loved the shit out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up. I had so many cards. I got all the starter decks, Yugi, Joey, Kaiba, and Pegasus. And, I used to, have an Exodia deck. Then I tried to make a Gate Guardian deck, but Gate Guardian's not a very good strategy, as it turns out. I gave the Exodia pieces to my brother so that he'd have more of an advantage at school. Then I remember trying to build a Destiny hero deck, but mainly because I had Destiny Hero Dogma. But my favorite deck that I built was my Dragon deck, where I had 5-headed Dragon and Blue Eyes Ultimate and, Tyrant Dragon and all that shit. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! So much, and they ruined it. They ruined that game. They ruined it with their stupid synchro and stupider, I hate this to death, XYZ summons, and their idiotic pendulums and their annoying link summons. Stop changing the game. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't really play it anymore because they ruined it, but I still have all my old cards. In fact, hi. So there you go. Airtank, thanks for the $2. Original Yu-Gi-Oh! Supremacy. Blue Eyes for the win. I agree. Yes. Thoughts on Slavic mythology? Really awesome. A lot of similarities to Norse mythology, which is funny. Perrin has a lot of similarities to Thor. Veles to Loki. They also have a world tree. But it's a really awesome mythology when you really get into it, and I eventually want to add it into my game. How easy is it to learn Japanese mythology? Well, one thing to remember is there are so many Japanese monsters, so it's a little tricky. But I'd say it's as easy as most mythologies to learn the base shit. Pick up a book, maybe a Jake Jackson book is a good one. You'll learn the basics about the gods. And one of the good ways to learn about the monsters is go on yokai.com. That has like pretty much every yokai you can think of on there and a good description of them. So there you go. Delivery Boy, thanks for the £2, I believe that is. Do you think Jesus could remove Kratos' ashes? Yeah, I think he could. In fact, the big theme of Christianity is forgiveness. So I think if Kratos asked and repented, Jesus would remove them. But let's be honest, do any of us want those ashes removed? Do any of us want Kratos to be normal skin colored? I don't think we do. It's a big part of his identity. Thoughts about Celtic myth? Love that too. Love the shit out of it. Like, I loved reading about like the Tuatha De Danann versus the Fomorians. I love the Balor Evil Eye, how Lu used it to wipe out the whole Fomorian army. I liked the tale of the three brothers trying to redeem themselves after killing Lu's father. I liked the tale of the swans and the journey they go through. Like a lot of really cool stuff. And I love Arthurian shit, which is kind of included in Celtic myth. So there you go. Did you see my paid comment? Oh shit, did I miss one? You see my paid comment? I buffered after your rant. Oh shit, did I miss a paid comment? Hold on, I'm gonna scroll back real quick. Original Yu-Gi-Oh! Supremacy. Thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think I missed any paid comments. Maybe if it was buffering, it didn't go through properly. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what to say. Thoughts on... If it didn't go through, at least hopefully you didn't get charged then. Thoughts on Tessa Thompson's book? Haven't read that one. Erlang Shen's Spear, Gungnir... Oh, you're answering someone else. Brady, thank you for the $2. Mythology Guy, do you think all soldiers who died in battle, regardless of belief, would end up in Valhalla? Well, keep in mind, you have to die bravely in battle, weapon in hand, typically. The Valkyries are still choosing you. I don't think it's necessarily that just because you die in battle, you'll go to Valhalla. Regardless of belief, I mean, I don't see a reason... There's nothing that specifies you have to believe in Valhalla to go there. That would be funny... Like, diehard Christian person dying in the Crusades wakes up in Valhalla. Like, wait a minute. What was I fighting for? Oh, wait, hold on. It was about the Blue Eyes deck. I think I missed the response. Oh, okay. Oh, when you said Blue Eyes for the win, I saw that. Brady Harper, thanks for another $2. Did you ever listen to Odysseus? I haven't spoken to him, if that's what you're asking. Love the Viking gear. Thanks, it's a Kratos costume. That would be so funny, yeah. Do they have April 1st in mythologies? I don't think they do, no. The origin of April Fools was people getting mad about changing what fell on a certain date in the calendar. So it's actually kind of a more recent thing. It wasn't an ancient thing. Oh, you're talking about the song. God damn it. I feel like an idiot. Thoughts on Viking metal? I love Viking metal. When I was doing the Where Do, like, Norse god theme songs and shit, I went through a lot of Viking metal, and I just ended up spending the day listening to it. It just got completely sidetracked. Do you think they'll bring back characters in God of War like Brock was? I don't think they would ever bring Brock back to life. You're talking about other characters? No, because it's established that Sindri like shouldn't have done that. I don't think they'll want to do that. I still would like to see a game where like maybe an Atreus spin-off game where their mission is to find that last piece of Brock's just so he can pass to the afterlife, you know? Just like so he can move on. I haven't played Alan Wake. I haven't played Control. I want to. You know what was funny? Was one time for Christmas, somebody asked me, hey, is there anything you'd like for Christmas? And I was like, well, I'd like to get Control for the PS4. He misunderstood me. He got me a PS4 controller. It's a true story. Twisted Flame, thank you for the donation. Can you talk about Cernunnos? That is the Irish god of the hunt in the wild. Also would be hilarious if the Romans were repelled by pukas. Yes, Cernunnos, the horn god. I know about him. I have a statue of him, but it's in one of my boxes over there, unfortunately. You may have seen it in my video. I'm just going to get one. I have my statue of Cernunnos. That was a gift for my 30th birthday from Shane. Yeah, Cernunnos is a cool god. In fact, there's belief that Cernunnos and Pan and Sylvanus may have had a little cross inspiration for each other. You know, Pan is also technically a horned god of the wild, just like Cernunnos and Sylvanus are. So that's a little fun fact for you. There may have been a little cross inspiration there. Control is on sale on PS5 for $10. Well, I know what I'm doing after I turn off this live. I'm going and buying that. $10. Thank you for telling me that. Do you watch the Fate series? Not yet. You're welcome. Okay, great. You're Catholic, but you made a skit about an Irishman in Greece, and the Irish gods were like, since he's Irish, they decide his fate. So given your cultural background, which pagan god would decide your fate? Well, let's see. I'm Scottish/Georgian, so you'd probably have the Slavic gods and the Celtic gods arguing about who gets to pick my fate, honestly. Japanese mythology is basically Weirdmageddon. Yes, it is. 100%. Which god's physique would you want to have? I don't want to be, like, too powerful or too wide, so I don't think I'd pick, like, Heracles or Samson. I'd be fine with, like, just, you know, having a nice Apollo bod or something. I think that would be really awesome. Twisted Flame, thank you for another donation. And whoop, shit, there it went. Fuck. Crap. Okay. What was more dangerous, Kelpie or Puka? Kelpie, for sure. Pukas, like, there are actually stories where they'll help you and be kind to you and stuff. Puka's kind of like you get what you deserve in a lot of ways sort of thing. Kelpies are just dangerous. Like, stay away from Kelpies. Have you heard about the new God of War rumors? No, I have not. I know I started one with that April Fool's video I made last year. Thoughts on Nintendo prices? Unacceptable. Stop it, Nintendo. Stop it. In fact, they should be charging less since the game isn't actually on the physical cartridge. That is ridiculous. Like... thoughts about the mythological symbolism in Naruto? Haven't seen Naruto, actually. Thoughts on Tessa Thompson's performance of... she's fine, honestly. She's totally fine. Like, again, she's supposed to be Brunhild. She is nothing like Brunhild, but they don't even call her Brunhild in the movies. So, again, I think she's just fine, honestly. Like, there's nothing bad about her performance, but there's nothing amazing about it either. Like, she's playing the role. Good for her. Thoughts on Australian folklore? It's crazy, man. The bunyips, the Yaramayahu. Holy shit. The Huru. Do you like the Odysseus song from Epic? Yeah. I don't think there's a song in Epic I disliked, to be honest with you. Very well made thing. Would you ever do an explanation of Gilgamesh and Sumerian myths? Yeah, there's no reason I wouldn't do that. I love the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's like the original anime. Who would be a gamer in mythology? Oh, Thor would be a gamer in a second. Like, yeah. Have you listened to or watched Hadestown? Yes, I watched it on YouTube and then I watched it live. And Claire and I did a video on it over on her channel, The Struggling Alto. So you can go check that out if you want our thoughts. Do you think there's mythologies we don't know about? Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. What is your... Okay, I've answered the favorite mythology thing 3 times now. I'm going to stop on that one. According to Record of Ragnarok Twitter, Poseidon is a gamer. Okay. Oh, I said Austrian. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know Austrian. Sorry. What would Loki's occupation be in modern day? He'd be probably a total scammer. One of those people that gets you to sign some shit that gives all your shit over to him, and he'd think that's hilarious. Thoughts on Conan the Barbarian? I loved the Schwarzenegger film. I never saw the Momoa film. It's cool that he's in Mortal Kombat now, even though Mortal Kombat has become kind of awful, unfortunately, with their goddamn microtransactions. Is this the real Kratos? Yeah. Do you believe in any religions? Yes, I am Christian. Who would... Oh, shit, I wanted to answer that. Oh, well, there it is again. Who would win, Gilgamesh or Samson? Well, cut Samson's hair and the fight's over. So, maybe Gilgamesh. Would like to see you watch Jake W. I love Jake W, man. I love his videos. I've interacted with him before. He did a video about something I actually got wrong in a video, and he was 100% right. And there's a certain video I've been trying to get done, and if it gets done the way I want it done, he might be in it. Scapegoat in here with yet another freaking donation. Holy guacamole. How many Red Bulls does Hermes drink a day? All of them. That's where he gets his wings. Who will win, Zeus or Odin? Odin. Zeus versus Ra. Ra. Favorite Hindu avatar? Avatar. Hanuman. There you go. Some consider him an avatar of Shiva. So there you go. Yeah, see? Here's my man, Hanuman. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Have you read Finnish mythology? A little bit. I haven't read a ton, unfortunately. Thoughts on the Coyote Trickster? He's my favorite Native American god. I really like Coyote. Can you do a skit on Susanoo calling Izanami his mother? I suppose I could. I'd need to think of a way to make it funny. Beowulf versus Gilgamesh. Still Gilgamesh. Like, Thor from Marvel or Shazam from DC? Thor from Marvel is lightning proof, so it would be Thor. I'm bisexual. Good for you. There are some stories where Kelpies are benevolent angels in horse form. Yeah, I guess there are. The ones I read in my books are pretty much just the evil ones, though. But I'd still say, obviously, a Pook is not as dangerous as a Kelpie. Kelpies can yank whole groups of kids into the ocean. Pukas are not that powerful. What breed is Cerberus? It's not specific. I've got a statue of him, though, which is based on a real Greek statue, so, that breed. Happy? How strong is Gilgamesh? He was strong enough to defeat the powerful wild man Enkidu, so there you go. Whoa, Ankit, thank you for that donation, and nice emoji you got there. Oh, and that's your 10th super. Hell yeah. Awesome. Is Zeus losing because he doesn't have Athena with him to plan attacks? Well, you guys are asking me to compare him to Odin and Ra, and I believe Odin outsmarts him and Ra outpowers him. Ra is powerful enough to create other gods. Keep that in mind. Ares versus Thor, who wins? Ares got beaten by 2 giants very easily. Thor kills giants all the time, so Thor. Your mythical inaccuracy videos are very rewatchable. I'm glad to hear it. Watch them more. Make me more money. I have not read Kalevala, Sarah. All right. Yes, the epic musical video is still in the works. Favorite armor in God of War Ragnarok? The bearskin one. I actually just loved that one, and I was sad it wasn't in the game originally, but then they added it in, and I was very happy. But I also really like the Muspelheim set. That's a really cool one. I like how it like glows. Really awesome. Scapegoat, thanks for another donation. Barbecue restaurant called Hestia's Hearth. Your opinion? That sounds wonderful. Here's the thing, though. If you do that, you have to make the seating really comfortable. You make it one of the... Put an actual hearth in there, you know? It's a really great idea. And yeah, instead of calling them like fire pits or barbecue things, be like, does your hearth have enough fire? Does it have enough coal? I love how creative you guys are. Hestia's Hearth, Surtur's Forge. You guys are the shit. There are some stories where... Okay, I read that already. Well, Owl House mythology and accuracies, since we have Edda Clawthorn, which is Baba Yaga with Greek and Welsh. Okay, I haven't seen Owl House, but maybe in the future. Athena versus Nike. Nike's goddess of victory. She can't lose. Twisted Flame, thank you for another donation. Ever read Gods Behaving Badly, an Iron Druid Chronicle? Who wins Zurix versus Lou? I'll give that one to Lou, I think. And I have not read that, but it has been recommended before, and I want to check that out. What are some underrated myths folklore you have read? Again, people very rarely talk about the Isun Boshi story. Really like that. Everyone knows Theseus versus the Minotaur, but hardly anyone knows about Theseus's labors before the Minotaur. Him versus the Cromyonian Sow, versus Skyron, versus Procrustes, versus the guy with the trees. Like, how come like no one talks about that shit? Those are really cool stories. No one ever incorporates that. The Immortals movie didn't even incorporate that. Like, come on, you make a movie all about Theseus and you don't showcase any of that stuff. John Wick versus Ares. Dream barbecue game thoughts. What? You mean like a cooking simulator? I mean, I played Overcooked, but I typically don't play cooking games. I guess a dream barbecue game would be one where you get really creative, like where you can actually... Here's one, like actually have like mythical cows and pigs on the fucking grill. Like have a little mini game where you have to go steal Helios's cattle without him noticing. Or Gurion's cattle or something. Thoughts on Wonder Woman? I love Wonder Woman. There's a reason I have a Wonder Woman over here. Oh no, what have I stumbled on? The best thing ever. Oh, there's a barbecue game on Steam. Okay, cool. What would happen if Cerberus and Garm had a puppy? I would have a lot of questions as to how two male dogs had a puppy together. If Record of Ragnarok happened, who would you pick for the human fighters? Okay. Well, if it happened, that means myths are real, right? Well, you'd want to get the humans who can actually surpass gods. Like you'd want Samson in there. You'd want you know what I think would be fun to watch? What if they had like Billy the Kid versus one of the gods just shooting at him? Because Billy the Kid shoots insanely fast. That would be really cool. Also, is Leonidas on the Record of Ragnarok team? I think someone told me it was, but that would also be really cool. Twisted, thank you for yet another donation. Zeus versus Lou. Olympians versus Irish gods. Zeus should always be the villain. Why does Zeus autocorrect to Zurich? Oh! Well, then I'm going to give it to Zeus, because the Greek gods are immortal and the Celtic gods aren't. Sorry. If you had to fight a Greek god, who would you fight? I'd fight Chimedes, the Lord of Beans. I'd just start kicking him. Least favorite epic song? I honestly don't know. I'd have to go through it again. Sorry. Would you cover Austrian folklore? If I knew it, of course I would. Yeah, why not? Do you know any Southeast Asian folklore? Yeah, Filipino. There's a Filipino playlist on the channel. A lot of great stuff there. Have you heard of the Hindu avatar Gandabarunda? No, actually. Will you add Abrahamic mythology into the card game? So originally the answer to that was no, because I didn't be. Then the answer became would like to, because I started having ideas. Now I can tell you the answer is yes, but not for a while. Because first I want to focus on some more polytheistic stuff, but I did think of a way to add Abrahamic in. I have some great ideas. I'm not going to spoil them. I'll just say pulling a lot from the Book of Revelation. There's a lot of awesome shit, and yes, it will eventually be in the game. But it probably won't come until we have like at least like 15 mythologies in the game or something. And if that sounds like a lot, we already have 7 coming up on 8. So like, you know, it's not that many added. Twisted Flame with another donation. Florida Man with solo Record of Ragnarok. Also Cucullin. Yeah, Cucullin's a good choice. Florida Man would be amazing. I'd love to see a Record of Ragnarok parody where they do shit like that. That would be amazing. Oh, God. Godzilla versus Ares. Well, just read this book and you'll know the answer. Yu-Gi-Oh has a Nordic themed deck. I did know that actually. They have the Valkyries, don't they? Where Loki plans a coup against the other gods and actually becomes Leviatine, who's a big dude that can summon Jormungandr and make it an unstoppable beast. Really cool. That does sound really cool. Leviatine is supposed to be Loki's weapon, though. Free for all war gods, who would win? Probably Durga. Durga, and I say that because Durga is so powerful that her getting angry spawned another god at one point. So, like, that's insane. Whereas Sekhmet has been defeated before in Egyptian myth, it might be Durga. Do you think Zeus is afraid of Ares? No, not for a second. Is that... Whoa, what was that about the Godzilla comic? Is that Godzilla comic mythically accurate? Well, considering the Greek gods didn't fight Godzilla in Greek mythology, no. Twisted Flame with another donation. Have you seen the theory that Loki is the biblical god? No, I haven't, but I also would not agree with that. Loki was more supposed to be Satan when Christian influence came in. What books would you recommend for learning Greek mythology? Doulaire's, Stephen Fry's, Jake Jackson's, Rick Riordan's are also pretty fun. If you want the authentic uncut shit, you want Apollodorus Hesiod's books and Homer's books. There you go. God of Politics? There actually is one. I can't remember, though. I was planning out a sketch based on it. Who was it? Shit. Oh, here's an argument you can make. You could argue Forseti is a god of politics, because he's a god of having talks of peace during times of war. That's literally politics. So there you go. Forseti counts as one. But I know there's another one, too. Shit. Twisted Flame with another donation. Gods Behaving Badly. Good read. Yeah, that's been heavily recommended. Have you seen Team Star Kid plays like Twisted or Harry Potter? Oh, you talking about the Harry Potter musical? I've seen that. I love that. I saw Harry Potter musical. I saw the sequel, which is technically a prequel to it. Never saw the third one, though. I think that one had a different cast. What is the scariest folklore creature in your opinion? Probably Cthulhu. Cthulhu is kind of intentionally, insanely, overly scary and mysterious, so I'd probably give it to him. Greek versus Norse pantheon. Who wins? Greek. Greek is immortal. Norse isn't. Cucullin or Siegfried? Who'd win? Ooh. Cucullin has that rage mode. And the reason he ended up getting killed was kind of for bullshit reasons. Let's say Cucullin. Prank War of Gods. Wukong would win that one. Do you like Transformers 1? Still haven't seen it. I want to watch it with Shane, so we're waiting for a day when we can watch it together. What mythology would you like to see in the next God of War game? My most wanted would be Aztec, but I don't think that's happening. Second most wanted would be Japanese. Also don't think that's happening. I think it's going to be Egyptian, which I'll also be happy about. It's just like, you know, there are ones that I'd be more happy about. But I'll be totally happy if it's Egyptian. Dark Effect, thank you for the $10. The writers of God of War said Christianity is absolutely part of their universe. I believe it. How would you like to see this implemented if it came up in any of the future games? So I think the coolest way to implement it would be to draw from Revelation and have like maybe the Horsemen of the Apocalypse show up, or Daniel's beast show up, or Abaddon's locusts, or some shit like that. I don't see them doing that though. For those of you who don't know, the original plan for God of War 3 was it was supposed to, after Zeus was killed, the Egyptian and Norse gods were supposed to show up and all fight each other, and Kratos was supposed to meet his Egyptian and Norse equivalents, and they were supposed to defeat all the gods. So then Christianity would take over, and then Kratos and the other two Kratoses were going to be the three wise men who go to Jesus's birth. They were hinting at that in God of War 2 with that one painting. So, yeah, obviously the Abrahamic shit is part of the universe, but they did cancel that plan, so I don't know what they're going to do with it now, if anything. Kratos versus Cain. Kratos. Will there be a Japanese God of War game? Again, I'd love it. I just don't think it's going to happen. At least not anytime soon. Why was Thor asked to leave the wedding? Because he was... what? Because he was a thorn everyone's side. Kratos versus Vidar. Kratos, but that would be an awesome fight. What do you think about Epic the Musical? I think it's really cool. I totally see why everyone's really into it. Like, I was listening to it, I was like, this is really well made. So, yeah, really cool, and I'm going to do a video on it. Yes, I have seen Hades Town. There's a video of me and Claire talking about it on her channel. Do you hate Zeus? I can't hate him because I love his stories and I love Greek mythology. I don't even hate Hera. I don't hate any of the Greek gods. I love them all. It's a huge thing I'm into. Now, if Zeus was a real person, I would hate the shit out of him because of everything he's done. But to me, he's not. So I don't hate him. Kind of like I don't hate the Joker. I love the Joker. But if he was real, I'd be horrified that he's real. Gilgamesh versus Heracles. That one I'll give to Heracles. God of War Kratos versus Mythology Kratos. Well, God of War Kratos defeated Zeus, so I'll say him. Like, Styx was so afraid that that Zeus would defeat all four of her kids that she made them all swear loyalty to him. So obviously, mythical Kratos isn't as powerful as Zeus. Kratos versus Heimdall. We already saw it. Like, will you add Pastafarianism into the card game? I don't know. Love you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. You know what the fucking thing about the Odyssey is? Odysseus killing Hector's baby. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. A lot of baby deaths in the Iliad Odyssey. Wotech, thank you for the donation. Which pantheons from different mythologies would be most likely to coexist? Okay, that's a good question. I could easily see Norse and Celtic existing side by side. Also, Aztec and Mayan actually kind of share some of the same gods, so that could also easily coexist. Christian and Jewish. In fact, they kind of do. Like, yeah. So there you go. Who is the best poet, Norse or Greek? Oh, that's hard to say, man. It's all subjective. The only reason I'll say Greek is because there's so much more of it and it's so much better documented. So let's say that. Ishtar and Ereshkigal versus Hera and Athena. I'll give it to Ishtar and Ereshkigal. Air Tank, thank you for the $2. What's up with people condoning Cersei's actions? I don't know, man. Record of Ragnarok Zeus versus God of War Zeus. Well, Record of Ragnarok Zeus is more powerful than Shiva, so I'm going to say that one. What if Kratos met Dante? That would be amazing, and he technically did in PlayStation All-Stars. Do you have a favorite Nordic god? Yeah, Loki. Loki's my favorite one. Who in mythology would beat Thor in a great feast without puking? Okay. A Gulon, because a Gulon eats until it shits and then keeps eating. So it wouldn't puke. Okay, but let's try to give a legitimate answer to that. Who's the... I remember there's like this spirit of endlessness. Who is that? Who in mythology would beat Thor in a feasting contest without puking? Loki, technically. Fire eats through everything. Charybdis, probably. There's one for you. Oh, wait, but Charybdis does puke constantly. Shit. So I guess not Charybdis. Fuck. Okay, I don't know. Was Hera a bad person or misunderstood? She's definitely a bad person. If you blame the victim and not only blame the victim, but punish the victim for being a victim when you know they're a victim, you're a bad person. Okay? That's called being a bad person. Scapegoat, thank you for another donation. Kratos versus the Old Testament. F around and find out the book. That you enjoy Epic is all I wanted. You're awesome and keep beating back my dimension. Okay, cool. I don't think Kratos would be more powerful than Old Testament God because that God is specifically supposed to be able to do anything, so I don't think Kratos has that one. Okay, we're coming up on 2 hours. That's where I cut it off. So thank you guys so much. I'm sorry I didn't get to every chat. I really did as many as I could, and I tried to give good answers. But thank you guys very much for always supporting me. Thank you for being here. It's a big highlight of my months. Thank you for all that incredible support on the God of War Ragnarok video. Love how well that video is doing. Thank you for the amazing donations. Thank you to the Patreon subscribers for being Patreon supporters and making videos like that possible. I hope I gave you satisfying answers to your questions. I love hanging out with you guys. Okay, we got another donation. I'll answer it. What pantheons could stop Sun Wukong? All right, the Abrahamic one. There you go. And the Hindu one. There's another one for you. But yeah, you guys honestly mean a lot to me. I really enjoy interacting with all of you. I enjoy feeling like I reward you in some way by doing stuff like this. But at the end of the day, I don't know how to end videos.